So today is Monday, August 12th, 2024. I just finished the tour to Chongqing, China last week, so I'm almost all spruced up for work at my office, but still I feel some jet lagged. Even though there is just 1 hour difference, I feel a little bit tired. I guess I didn't have enough rest. But as with other days, I would like to read an English article to practice English. I am still learning English after 30 years, and also I've studied learning Chinese together. Jack Ma Alibaba Foundation revealed the Australian mentor who helped make Alibaba's Jack Ma. In 1980, a communist sympathizer from Australia took his family to China, where they had a chance meeting, that's a good word, chance meeting with a boy from Hangzhou, Yep, I've just switched my chairs. There was some pause. Family to China, where they had a chance meeting with a boy from Hangzhou wanting to practice his English. The 12-year-old went by the Chinese name Ma Win, but these days the world knows him as Jack Ma, the billionaire founder of internet giant Alibaba. A new book on his life, The House That Jack Ma Built by Duncan Clark, credits the Australian family and particularly its patriarch, the late Ken Morley, for laying the early groundwork which helped Ma found Alibaba. The late Ken Morley. I remember the day we met him very well, says Ken's son David Morley via phone from Newcastle. I had gone down to the West Lake in Hangzhou to flick matches, and this boy came up to me who could speak English. Yeah, I've been to West Lake or Shihou in Hangzhou too. Morley and Ma got chatting and arranged to meet up again the next day to play frisbee. And so began a friendship between Ma and the Morleys, which has lasted more than 3 decades. Dad saw something in him. I think Dad saw something in him, says Morley, who runs a yoga studio in Newcastle. Initially, they would swap letters. Ma, writing in English, would leave every second line blank, which Morley Sr. would dutifully correct and send back with a letter of his own. Morley last saw Ma during his honeymoon in China in 2008, but his sister Sue caught up with a billionaire in Hong Kong recently. I think they all flew off to Japan in his private jet, as you do when you are a billionaire, says Morley. The letter writing and English correction stopped some years back with the advent of the internet and was replaced by the occasional email. The last ever email I received was from Jack Ma, says Morley. It was this grounding in English that allowed Ma to go to America, which he became interested in the internet, where he became interested in the internet, according to Clark, a former investment banker who runs the Beijing tech consultancy and whose book will be released on April 12th. But before traveling to America, the Morleys brought Ma to Australia for his first overseas trip. It was 1985, a time when China was just starting to open up and countenance the idea of capitalism. Countenance. Countenance usually means the face, right? Countenance or face color, countenance. So let's find that out, the meaning of countenance. Countenance. First time for me to encounter this kind of word in a long time. Countenance.
Countenance.
Countenance. Appearance, right. Face. Features. Support. Encouragement. Yeah, I've encountered this word many times, but not that many. Tolerate, permit, approve, support. Face, right? Appearance, face. Features, countenance. The countenance on his face looks terrible, right? Appearance, face, features, support, encouragement. Countenance, tolerate, permit, approve, support. Countenance is a synonym for face or facial expression, but may also refer to countenance divine or divine countenance. So approve. He even it was 1985, a time when China was just starting to open up and countenance the idea of capitalism. We did all the usual things like go to Taronga Park Zoo in Sydney, says the younger Motley. From then on, Motley Sr., a semi-retired electrical engineer, would go to China most years, where he would help out at the university where Ma taught English. Oh, Ma taught English, right, at the university, where he would help out at the university where Ma taught English. He even helped Ma buy his first apartment in Hangzhou, a lakeside city outside Shanghai. Strong family connection, but Motley Sr., described by his son as pretty left-wing and probably a communist sympathizer, was never much interested in business. And so the family was not an early investor in Alibaba, now a US $200 billion company listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It's an irony not lost on Motley. His father, an avowed socialist who went to China to take a look at communism, ended up fostering one of the most successful capitalists the world has ever seen. It's an irony not lost on Motley. His father, an avowed socialist. It's an irony not lost on Motley. That's a good expression. It's an irony not lost on Motley. It's an irony not lost on Motley. It's an irony not lost on Motley. It's an irony not that this has affected the bond between the two families. Even as Ma was on his way to becoming China's most famous entrepreneur, now worth an estimated $23 billion US, families stayed connected. Ma made a special trip to Australia in September 2004 to visit Motley Sr. just before death. He then sent a very heartfelt letter that was read out at Dad's funeral, says Motley. And he says Ma's son, Kun, was named after his father, Ken. Dad always said Jack was the guy who could get things done, says Motley. I suppose in modern terms, you'd say he was a great networker. Jack Ma, the irony was not lost on the Motley. The irony was not lost on Motley. The irony was not lost on Motley. The irony was not lost on Motley. Countenance, the capitalism. Motley, bonded, countenance, Motley. It's so another expressions that I decided to memorize was were groundwork, early groundwork, help out. The irony was not lost on Motley, Countenance, Yoga Studio, caught up with a billionaire in Hong Kong recently, caught up. Semi-retired electrical Hangzhou, read out loud, read out at Dad's funeral, probably as communist, avowed socialist. He's an avowed socialist. Avowed socialist. Pretty left wing. Well, that's just about it. Yeah, there was something before avowed socialist, right? Avowed socialist. It was on the right side. Avowed socialist. Grounding. It was this grounding in English Jack Ma taught at the university. Fostering, right? Fostering. Avowed, yeah, it's an irony not lost on Motley. Avowed socialist. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening.